Do you like movies, comic books, science fiction, and more? Then you come to the right place. This is the Rebel Radio Podcast. You can find us at therebelradiopodcast.com. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and join our Patreon for just $2 a month where you get exclusive episodes. Thank you for listening and enjoy the show. Welcome to a new episode of the Rebel Radio Podcast. This is Mark.
This is Matt.
This is Long, the animated.
Animator.
Long, who was going to not be here, but he has graced us with his evil Dr. Tran presence through the mighty power of the intranets. And he's wearing a blanket, and dear God, I hope he has pants on underneath it.
You want to see? No.
Ah!
My eyes. Oh, good Lord.
They're beautiful, I know. Brings a tear to your eye.
Why did the tent turn into a teepee all of a sudden?
On that note, how are you guys doing in a COVID-filled world?
Yeah, about as good as you can, I guess.
Yep. It's almost like you accept your reality now, and it's just the new norm in a way. But yeah, it is what it is.
Yep.
And just got to get through it every day and do whatever. But in some ways, life didn't change that much. I realized I don't really go anywhere anyway. So maybe I went some places, but now I'm just going less places. So, I'm kind of a introverted recluse anyways. I'm kind of good with just staying home, so it's all good. It's all good. Man, but I watch y'all on the video here, and I feel out of place now. Like, you shaved your head, Matt. Long already accepted his fate a long time ago, and I'm the only one who hasn't gone that route yet. So I feel like
shave it, Mark.
I'm the odd man out. Fuck no. I might shave somewhere, but not up there.
Yeah. Hey, Mark, can you mute the your StreamYard? Because you're echoing. Yeah.
I can do that. Is that better, sir?
Oh, there we go. Much better. Yeah.
Perfect.
I forgot to do that. So
half the background buzzing noise too.
A little tech issue there. Yeah, I don't know what the buzz is. Yeah, I cleaned my computer desk off. Actually, the podcast desk, it looks amazingly clean. So maybe I hit a wire or something, and now I have this buzz going. I don't know.
Why don't you stop surfing porn for a change?
No, I should have just left the desk messy. It's like any wire that might have been touching any piece of cardboard or something on the desk probably kept it from buzzing. Now that I moved everything, I'm getting a slight buzz in the background. So I don't know. So I blame my cleanliness, I guess. But other than that,
funny. That kind of reminds me of something that happened to me. So, if your car is parked in my driveway, there's a 90% chance it's going to get washed. Mark knows this. Long hasn't had the opportunity for that to happen yet.
But you've done it in my damn driveway before.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I have. So my sister-in-law brings her truck over, and it's, her husband's truck. And it was really dirty, so I clean it. And I go a step further. I pop the engine bay, and I clean the engine bay. And the thing, all of a sudden, and it's shiny and everything. I used engine degreaser, got everything out, used engine bay shine, everything. I do it on my vehicles. And she's getting out of the driveway, and then for some reason it doesn't want to go in reverse all of a sudden. And it's like I cleaned it and I made it worse. And she gets back and the check engine light's on. And I was like, she's like, "What did you do to my car?" And I was like, "I cleaned it."
You fucked with shit.
Yeah. I think some of the spray got on her mass airflow sensor and caused it to act up a little bit because it started acting right. And I was like, if your vehicle's acting fine, it's most likely mass airflow just kind of got a little bit of that on it.
Yeah. Yeah, other than that, my week's not been too bad. I had a little story to tell here before we get into download this. So somebody messaged me on Twitter. I told you a little bit about this, Matt. And
oh, yeah.
It was
for me, I think.
an apparent chick, right? And so I played along. I knew from the get-go it was a little awkward. That was a scammer. And so they wanted to talk on Google Hangouts, and I said, okay. They claim they lived in Atlanta and that their mother lives here in Houston. And so I started getting a little suspicious whenever they asked for... I was suspicious from the beginning because she sent me a picture and this person was smoking hot. I'm like, okay, there's no fucking way that this girl's even interested in me, right? And so that's my first clue. I mean, I'm just being real with myself. And so they asked for a Google Play card to pay for a bill. And I was like, that's a red flag. So at this point on, I know it's a scammer, right? But I'm going to play along anyway. So I kept playing along. I said, no, I'm not sending you money. So finally I reversed image her. And sure enough, it was this Colombian Dominican Republican model that semi-famous, a lot of followers on their social media and things like that. And so I called her out on it, and I said, so why are you a model when I reverse image you? And she said, oh, I used to do that, and I quit. I said, so you quit, and they're still updating your Instagram as of last week? And she says, oh, my manager owns my contract, and he can do whatever he wants with my image. And I'm like, the story just gets better and better. I'm like, you're so fucking fake. So I said, okay, well, for real, why don't you FaceTime me? Made every excuse in the world not to do that. I'm just like, okay, so then finally they asked for my Facebook information. I said, oh, you can look up my name and find it. And they go, no, I want your username. Okay, yeah, I'm going to give you my username. I'm not fucking stupid. So then most recently they wanted, I guess they claimed to own an antique business, right, in Atlanta. And they gave me a name, and I looked up the antique business. The owner of that business didn't even match this person's name. And so I was like, and I called them out on that too. I say, well, okay, I called them out on that after the fact. They asked me for a bank account number so they could send me some money to get some things they needed for their business that she was having trouble getting there. I'm like, when are you going to stop fucking lying, right? So it was just, I had some humorous fun with them, and I called them out on my own Twitter account today and asked anybody else if they had any trouble with this person, and at least one person responded and said, yeah, it's a scammer, sure, which I already knew that, but it's just like the links that people go. But I give this person credit. They were resilient. They never gave in. They never admitted that they were a scammer, because if they do, then you can post on the internet and they'll never scam anybody else. But yeah, so a little bit of fun with a internet scammer the last, actually it's been a couple of weeks. I've been kind of messing around with them. So, and, but oh well, it was all in good fun. So watch out for those internet scammers. I mean, I don't know why anybody would be dumb enough to send them any money they don't know, but I guess there are people out there that naive. So, yeah. But my little story, I guess that's sad. That's the most entertainment I've had in COVID-19 world. But, well, so let's get into download this. Huh?
Today.
What's that?
Yeah, it's the start.
Oh, yeah, you start vacation.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
1 whole week. I don't think I've ever taken the vacation this long before. I've only taken like 5 days or 6 days at the most, but not 9 days straight,
So you're saying we shouldn't text you? We shouldn't text you at 6:30 a.m. like usual, because you're probably not going to be awake.
Oh, that's okay. I mean, you can always text and all that. It gives me something to read when I wake up.
I know when I'm on vacation, a lot of times I'll wake up and there will be texts from you guys, and but I usually don't sleep too late. I'm usually still up by 7:30, even on vacation. So
yeah.
But so let's get to download this, man, where we tell people where we watched, streamed, or played this week. And so whoever wants to go first, man, what'd you guys check out this week?
I'll go first. Well, I resubscribed to Disney Plus last week, I think.
Nice.
And I was kind of curious about Hamilton, so I started watching it for the first 10 and 15 minutes, and I couldn't last longer than 15 minutes. It's a great production and all, and hats off for it to, being as popular as it is, because it's all set against R&B hip hop type music, but I just couldn't get into the story, So, and it is like singing from beginning to end, just singing, There's that's the dialogue. It's done through singing or rapping, And it's like an opera, basically, a modern opera. and but I couldn't get into the story, couldn't get into the characters. I don't know, maybe it's the singing or what, I don't know, but I'm not hating on it at all, but it's probably I'm not in the mood to watch it. I'll probably watch it eventually, so I'm not writing it off completely. But it's kind of funny how that play was started. Ron Chernow, the guy who wrote the biography on Alexander Hamilton, it's a best-selling history novel, and Lin-Manuel Miranda was reading the book, and he was thinking, "Hey, maybe I could turn this into a play or a musical," and he did. And of course, Ron Chernow didn't know anything about. It's kind of weird how he indirectly inspired that Broadway play, and that kind of made me interested in Ron Chernow's new book about Ulysses S. Grant, the Civil War general who won the Civil War, and he wrote that book to basically overturn years of hostile historical depictions by Southern historians who said that he was a drunk, throughout his presidency and throughout his generalship. But that was like a biased point of view because most of the books written against Grant were written by Southern historians. So the book that Ron Chernow released about Ulysses S. Grant basically is like giving it a much fair light and talks about all the stuff that Grant has done as a president, and as a Civil War general too, all the good stuff that he's done that were overshadowed by years of propaganda.
That's funny because it's like, why would you want to say that you got beat by a drunk dude, in a fight? It's like you might want to, maybe say that he, wrestled an alligator and pulled its head off or something. You got beat by this great dude, not this drunken, dude.
General.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, also, I watched Frozen 2 because I like the first Frozen. And I know Mark's probably sick of Frozen 2 or by now. But I have to tell you, though, the plot of the story wasn't as good as the first one. And then I skipped all the song and dance numbers. So I basically watched probably an hour's worth of the movie by skipping all the songs and dance numbers.
As much as I'm tired of watching it, I think the songs are better in the second one. I do think that.
You think so?
Mm-hmm.
I like some of the first songs in the first one, but then again, I skipped those too. So, and I started watching that behind the scenes documentary on the Mandalorian. That was pretty cool, So that's my download this.
Nice. I finally finished beating Resident Evil 3. It's the first time I ever beat Resident Evil 3. I only got like halfway through on PS2 because my parents didn't buy those games for me. I wasn't allowed to have mature rated games. I had to go to my cousin's, and that's why my cousin is pretty much like my brother. I would stay there for weeks at a time, like 1 week at a time, 2 weeks at a time. I think one time I spent a whole month over there for the summer, and his parents would buy everything for him. If he wanted Diablo, it didn't matter if he was 13 and it was rated M for mature, 17 plus, he'd get it. And so I was able to beat Resident Evil 2 while I was over there, but not 3. And he had to tell me what happened over the phone in Resident Evil 3 when he beat it. He finished it for me. And it's just so cool because I feel like those are like the only canon trilogy. The trilogy is the only canon part of that series. 1, 2, and 3. 4 is great. I like 5, but it's all about 1, 2, and 3. So beat that. Was very proud. And then I watched Liar Liar. Wife wanted to watch Liar Liar, and it's still hilarious to me. Still funny. And my parents gave me the code to Dr. Dolittle. And I know it's horribly rated, but I got it for free. And I watched a little bit of it. Didn't get to watch a whole lot of it to make a judgment, but seems like it's okay. And I think that's about it.
Cool.
Yeah.
Didn't know what to watch still. Oh no,
I haven't got much. I haven't got much further along in The Last of Us yet. Man, during the week it's just not as much time to play. But I played some last weekend, and I got to a part where that was very difficult, so I put it down and said I'll have to come back to this whenever I have time. And so I have not been back on it yet. So hopefully this weekend. And then, but I did watch on HBO Max. One thing that's cool about that is this is Studio Ghibli stuff is on there. And so I sat down, I watched My Neighbor Totoro, because I'd never seen that one. And nice. Waverly watched it with me. It's a really cute movie. You know, it's got two little girls in it, so she, I think, related to it even at her age. And
it's a great movie. It's one of the pillars of the studio.
I had never seen it, and I was highly impressed. Just a really great story. Very heartwarming. Very easy to follow. Really well animated, of course. I mean, it's 1989, I believe, is when it came out, so it's one of Studio Ghibli's earlier films. But just really well done. And we've done Princess Mononoke, of course, and we've talked about doing Spirited Away, and his films are just he gets how to appeal to everyone. Imaginative. He gets how to appeal to everybody who watches his films. You can guarantee you can watch a Miyazaki film and you're going to find something you relate to in it, something that makes you smile, something that makes you think. Every one of his films are just really well done, and I'm going to take advantage of those movies though on HBO Max and try to watch some of the ones I haven't seen. And Hulu.
I saw. I saw actually The Wind Rises. The last.
This is his latest film.
Miyazaki. Yeah, that's a sad movie.
Yeah.
Not as sad as Graveyard of the Fireflies, though.
Graveyard of the Fireflies is on Hulu, and I actually have it in my queue on Hulu. I haven't watched it because I've heard you have to really be mentally prepared to watch it, but I do want to see it eventually. I just have to put myself in the right frame of mind and watch it. So I've heard it's amazingly well done, but you're guaranteed to cry when you watch it, is what I've heard.
Yeah. It's not directed by Miyazaki, but one of his creators. So yeah.
Well, the amazing thing about him, though, is even the ones he didn't direct, he's had a hand in almost all of them, at least with animation ideas or writing credits and stuff. He's very much, he took a cue from Walt Disney with that when he built his studio, that he wanted to be hands-on and be involved with most of his projects. So I think there's very little that they've done at Studio Ghibli that he hasn't had some involvement in some way. And, just a very imaginative director. He says he's going to do one more film, so hopefully he gets that done. I guess he's already started work on it, so we'll see. And but that's really about all I really watched this week. I didn't really watch a whole lot. It's kind of a slow week. And why is your Arnold text messages going off?
Sorry, someone messaged me.
But shut Arnold.
What's with all these kids appearing on everyone's background?
I know, right?
The light in Matt's background is all of a sudden see a little head pop up.
Yeah, they just show up.
Behind it.
Well, Matt's got a whole fucking Brady bunch over there, so I mean.
Yeah. Put your kids under control, man.
Don't you have whiskey, man? You go dip a little whiskey in them and go to sleep. I don't know. Mine are being pretty good so far. So, yeah. So, that's about it.
Did you, in Last of Us Part 2, did you finally start playing the other character?
Oh, yeah. I'm on that part of the game right now where I'm playing as the other character.
The one with the really big arms?
Yeah, there's, you're down in the basement of the hospital, and this giant infected mutant thing is after you, and he's really scary, and it's dark, and it's disorienting, and I keep running into walls, and he kills me, and he rips me in half in fact, he rips you in half very brutally, and I'm just like, this sucks. So it's one of those things where I put it down, I'll probably come back to it, and I'll beat it in a couple of tries, Just one of those things, like, at that moment, like, just nothing was working. I'm like, okay, flamethrower's not working on him, shotgun's not working, how do I kill this son of a bitch? And so I have to come back around to it and hopefully beat it, so. But still a great game. And And I might download PlayStation Plus. One of the free games this month is one of the Tomb Raider games. And I'm not a big Tomb Raider person, but I might check that one out and see what it's all about.
Those are fun.
Yeah, and the other one is NBA 2K20, but I already have 2K19, so I don't really feel the need to download 2K20, just for updated rosters. So, yeah. So, all right, well, let's get into today's featured film. A movie that was promoted and designed to bring mainstream anime to the mainstreams of America. It didn't quite work the way they intended it to, but the film had its audience. I remember this coming out when I was in high school, and remember hearing a lot about it through comic book stores. It was heavily promoted, and that is 1995's Ghost in the Shell, the original anime version, not the live-action Scarlett Johansson version. This is a complex film. Who wants to? Y'all want to summarize this, because it's pretty complex, but also pretty simple on the surface, I suppose.
Yeah. So basically, the year is 2029, and now you are able to enhance yourself. You can have enhanced eyes, enhanced ears. We talked about Mallrats before. I think one of the guys from Mallrats would ask what else you could enhance further below the equator. But you have a ghost, which is your conscious, your cortex, and you can upload it into these shells, which are
cyborgs.
Enhanced cyborgs. You can be full cyborgs, full cybernetic, or you can be an enhanced human. Or even one guy looks like one guy in the film is completely human. Well, there's someone that's going around and hacking these ghosts, and it is Major's job to find out who and the puppet master is, and take him down essentially.
Yeah, that's pretty good summary. I guess the complexities of this film lie in the ideas it deals with of messing with artificial intelligence and what it is being a human. That's where the complexities lie. It's been a while since I watched this, and I forgot it's only like an hour and 20 minutes long, because it's one of those films that feels very epic for only an hour and 20 minutes. It feels like a 2-hour film, and not because it's slow, just because it's quite epic for what it does. Wonderful, very well animated for 1995. It looks fantastic, even by today's standards.
Yeah, it still looks
really good. Really well drawn. I was really, as I was watching it, paying attention to a lot of the backgrounds and the details they put into it. Just really, really well done. And I wanted to go see this in theaters when it came out, but it was only playing, I think it played at the Edwards Theater, over there, and a couple places. I never did make it at theaters, so I remember catching this on video and seeing it. And it made quite an impression on me. I'd already seen Akira at this point, and I had seen some anime stuff, but Ghost in the Shell, I think, made me realize that maybe anime could be a little darker. I guess I had stayed away from the darker stuff at that point, even though I knew it was out there, and definitely can be told to tell pretty complex stories. Because I guess at that time, when I saw Akira, I didn't really realize how complex it was. I just thought, oh, this is kind of cool, but I think I give a lot of credit to anime for doing that with animation, making it not just Disney films. There's a lot more to them. And when was the first time you guys remember seeing this?
Maybe 2000. I was probably 14. I think I saw it on TV.
Yeah, I finally sat down and watched it in, I believe, 96 or 97. And, I liked it. It definitely had its own pacing, and it's stuff. I watched it quite a bit when I was younger as well, and the animation is stellar. And I watched the 2.0 version literally an hour and a half ago. Just finished it, and man, it's kind of distracting with the CGI that they added.
That's how I felt
in the beginning.
I tried to watch the 2.0 version one day, and I felt the exact same thing. It was too distracting for me to watch it.
Yeah. Yeah, but it pretty much stayed 2D for the rest of the movie. It was just like the first 10 minutes that.
And then it's kind of and then some of the fight scene at the end, if I remember right.
Yeah.
That final battle. Have either one of you ever read the manga?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I used to own the manga.
I never read it. I always wanted to.
Yeah. It was.
I never read it.
It had more humor in it, and it was not as stoic as the movie. And let's see, it definitely had more personality to it, you know. So there goes Mark.
There he goes.
There you go, Matt. Now that the main host is left, but yeah, you can actually buy a digital copy of the manga on Comixology. So, if you're ever curious, but it's a really good read. It's not as
isn't it
slow
short?
paced. Yeah, it's just one volume.
Oh, okay, that's what I thought because they didn't animate it, right?
Yeah,
I think they animated it because I remember it coming on Toonami. I remember it being on Toonami at night for a short time. And there are other animes that they had for a short time on Toonami. Witch Hunter Robin. It wasn't like Inuyasha. Inuyasha was on every night.
yeah.
That's all. Like every girl in high school liked Inuyasha
Oh
for some
yeah.
reason. Yeah, they wanted to be like Inuyasha and Kagome.
It's a rom-com though. That's why. I bet
Yeah.
you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
basically.
And no, what you missed out, Mark, was I was talking about how the manga was had more humor in it, and each of the characters in Section 9 actually had their personal tank robot with them.
Oh, nice.
So, yeah, I think the TV series was more faithful in a way.
Yeah.
Because they had the robots with them, didn't they?
Yeah, I was actually reading that. Like the director, I can't think of his name. He wanted to implement that into the film, but they just felt that they couldn't get into the story without really drawing it out more. And I think you're right, though. I think in the TV version, they do have all that. Because I've watched some of Standalone Complex, and I do remember those being in there.
Yeah.
And that was one of his biggest things the director wanted to do was he really wanted to make it much more faithful to the book, but it would have been a longer film, or it had to even been 2 movies at least. And I guess they still had issues. Even anime has a studio they have to answer to, and this was a very expensive anime for 1995. One of the highest budgeted anime films ever made. So I guess they had to cut some things out. But I think from what I know about the manga, the core of the story is still there. The essence of it, and I know some of the police stuff is in there that he did keep in there. He actually went and shot live action actors running with guns and shooting to see what it would look like. So when they animated it, he could make it look as real as possible, which I thought was kind of cool. A lot of attention to detail in the film. I guess there was a whole scene at the beginning of the movie that never was filmed, where a tsunami hits they're in Tokyo, right? Yeah, and that explains why the city is kind of flooded. And I guess it is mentioned in the film, but we obviously never saw the tsunami.
Yeah.
So, because I was wondering that too. I was like, why are they walking in water? Then I read that, and I guess it is mentioned in the film at least once. But yeah, but I think this movie is just it's complex in the fact that it deals with how we might believe if cyborgs were ever to come into our general culture, which a lot of people believe that it could happen one day with the advent of 3D printing and things changing, that our bodies could change, and what it means to be human, and what it means to have a conscious. Major never blinks in the film, so it's alludes that she's a shell with a ghost in her, but yet she thinks and has a conscience too. So it deals with those complexities, and the Puppet Master is a villain that challenges those complexities and whether they're alive or not, because he's still your typical villain. He ultimately wants to bring down the system, but are his reasonings good? Because he wants to bring down the system because he believes it's wrong. He's one of those interesting villains that I almost feel wasn't delved into enough. Because he could be a villain that you could have sympathized with in some ways. Because he may not be wrong in wanting all these the system to be brought down, because it's kind of an unhuman system. Is that the right word for it? Inhumane.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he quotes Corinthians in here. There's like a full paragraph from Corinthians, and I thought that was cool. And you wouldn't think that his dialogue was biblical, but I guess his logic was of biblical proportions, talking about becoming more than yourself, like thinking that the best version of yourself is your limit, when really it's more becoming out of yourself.
He even says that himself. He says, I'm not an AI.
Yeah.
I'm more than AI. But ultimately, he is an AI. He just claims to be more.
He's an AI.
Yeah.
But this villain's very interesting.
And the film does a good job with the character of Major and Bato. Is that how you say his name? Her partner.
Yeah.
And their relationship. And but Bato also won't hesitate to kill for Major to help her out. And he basically tells Major, like, if you go off the deep end, I'll kill you. Bato does not fuck around, and they did do that in the live action film too. He doesn't mess around that movie either. And I guess that's how he was in the manga. Also, he was pretty tough. No, hard-nailed cop.
Yeah, but he's still a loyal friend to the end.
Yeah. Loyal friend to the end, but yet I'll kill you if I have to too.
Cool. I heard that the sequel, Ghost in the Shell: Innocence, was pretty good too.
The sequel. Yeah.
It's definitely more Bato oriented, because it takes up the main lead, I think.
Yeah.
But then there's Standalone Complex that came out 10 years ago.
Yeah, probably so. Yeah. And then they have the
Standalone Complex TV series. It had like 2 or 3 seasons. And then now Netflix has its own CGI Ghost in the Shell show right now.
Which I
haven't heard much.
I tried to watch the first episode, but I just got distracted and I was never able to really pay attention to it. But I did try to watch the first episode.
I did watch the first episode and I didn't really pursue it further than that. So it's beautifully animated though.
Yeah.
So.
And, and even the live action version of this isn't bad. It wasn't well received by critics, but it goes into it has a little more deeper influences from the manga in it. But the base story is still there. I thought that the special effects were handled well in the live action version. Obviously, Scarlett Johansson did not want to go nude, so she wore a bodysuit for the thermo camouflage stuff. But it still looked, cool. I didn't dismiss the live action version. I thought it was okay. That was a pretty decent film. It's not as good as this though. I mean, the original is always the best. I really like the thermo optic suits they put in this. I thought that was a really cool effect in the film. And
I think the live action film could have done better if we didn't have a lot of negative publicity about them picking ScarJo to play Major.
Right.
And I think there's a number one rule: you don't get to be more offended than the victim. And the creator of Ghost in the Shell even said that Major, has no race. She's a cybernetic being that can be anything. And then you still had people that were like, "You should be offended." Right. And so, he's like, "It's a character. Anyone can play it." Which I like that.
Yeah, he praised the live action movie. He thought it was really good.
Yeah.
And I think that's why you see it's like a 67% on Tomato Meter. I think it should It should be like more like upper 70s.
No.
I think maybe like 76, 77, C+, B- kind of stuff.
Yeah. Well, and but anytime you do a live action version of something that's loved, it's never going to be perceived the same way unless it just comes out perfect. And I think that's why a live action Akira hasn't been tackled yet. A live action Metal Gear Solid, and these really popular franchises, just because people are afraid to do it and do it right. It's risky. Like I'm a firm believer that Akira is never going to get made. I mean, Taika Waititi says he's going to produce it and get it made, but I just don't think it's ever going to happen. I was actually surprised Ghost in the Shell got made, and it did finally get made, and it wasn't as well received as maybe it could have been. But I think it also, by not doing as well at the box office to be as received, may cause other live action animes to be thought twice about before the studio does it. But
I agree.
But we always have this original classic. That's it's hard to believe this movie's 25 years old because I remember when this came out, and I was talking earlier about how it was heavily promoted. It was promoted on the back of comic books, Wizard magazine. There were posters in theaters. They were running trailers for it. They really tried to push.
Man, I remember.
They really tried to push this into mainstream audiences in North America to make anime a big deal. But then the problem was they were advertising with a limited audience because in 1995 people weren't going into comic book stores like they are now. Theater owners didn't believe in it. When it got picked up to be put into theaters, ended up getting only picked up by like 1,000 theaters, where most movies are 4,000 theaters or more or screens. So when the theater owners ended up not believing in it, it was just doomed. And they had hoped for a much more bigger release for it. They wanted it to be like a major theatrical release, but the theater owners themselves kind of backlashed on this film too and kept people from being able to see it. And
maybe it's the nudity.
Maybe so. Maybe the fact that it was an adult property. It was harder to sell. It's still hard to sell adult animation, but it's different now because we have streaming and we have direct to DVD, so it's easier for them to do this stuff now. So it's a little, but you still couldn't sell an adult animated film in theaters nowadays. It would be really hard to do, just because people, for some reason, can't be grown up about it. Maybe that's the right way to put it, and just accept that a film doesn't always have to be live action to be adult. Who knows? But yeah, so the Ghost in the Shell was definitely a game changer for anime, regardless if it wasn't successful in theaters. It found its audience through DVD and VHS and rentals and word of mouth, and I think it's considered obviously an anime classic now, right up there. Akira and Ghost in the Shell are arguably two of the biggest anime films to ever be released. Fist of the North Star, which of course we covered, that was a big one too, and so it'll always be a game changer.
And how?
I was just seeing if y'all had any. I mean, I give this. I think this movie's an easy A+. I think it's pretty solid.
Easy.
Yeah. I give it an A-. Because of the pacing for me.
Yeah.
And the heavily exposition dialogue, in
the middle part of the film, especially the scene in the commissioner's headquarters or police or whatever. That scene really goes on, and it's just like, and if you edit that scene down, the movie moves so much bit, because the first 20 minutes move really quick. Then you get to all the expositions in the middle, and then the last 20 minutes move really quick. From the point where they have the puppet master, when they capture the puppet master and everything, from there on the movie moves really fast. But it's about 20 minutes in the middle of the film that just like, and I know what you mean by that.
The pacing issues.
But overall, though, a really solid film, And if you've never watched Ghost in the Shell, you're an anime fan. Well, you're not really an anime fan then, I guess.
That's right. You gotta at least see Ghost in the Shell and Akira.
Yeah, definitely two of the big ones.
I've seen those. Yeah.
But
so on to our top 5.
Yeah, I guess we can do our weekly top 5. So we didn't go very adventurous this week. We are doing our top 5 favorite animated films.
That's it. Just any animated films, right?
Yeah. So, Long, you want to go first, man?
Yeah, my number 5. I didn't really pick any. I have like one Disney title in here, but my number 5 is not a Disney title. It's Secret of Nim. Have you guys heard of that? I'm sure Mark has. Secret of Nim.
Oh, Secret of the Nymph. Yeah.
Yeah. You go to bed, young lady. Go to bed.
You tell me, Papa.
In a little bit. Go upstairs.
That's my number 5.
So the Secret of Nim.
But Secret of Nim.
I like that. I actually
it's, basically about super smart test lab rodents trying to find the secret of the lab that they came out of. I think.
Actually,
Yeah.
I don't have it in my top 5, but I really like that movie a lot. It's a movie I want to do on the show one day. I actually own it on my Vudu account because that was the best way to get it in blue. It's funny because there is a Blu-ray out there of the film, but it's actually just a DVD upgrade. The only way to actually get the movie in 16:9 widescreen is on Vudu for some reason. That's I don't know why, but and it looks really nice on Vudu. So I bought it when they had it for like $5 a few weeks back, actually, not that long ago. But I like The Secret of Nim quite a bit too. That's a really, really good movie.
First time I heard a curse word in an animated film too.
And there's been some talks about either a live action version or a new animated version that's more like the book, because the book, I guess, is a little bit darker than even the movie was, and the movie's pretty dark. So we'll see if that happens one day.
What's your number 5, Matt?
Number 5 for me, I put Spirited Away. It's
okay.
Yeah, I didn't see that. I saw it right after it came out. And I had a friend that brought it with them whenever we went on a band trip, and we ended up watching it while we had some downtime. And it was the first. I think that was the first like animated movie that I ever saw. Like from that is Studio Ghibli, right?
Ghibli?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's
Ghibli.
not,
Sorry, I always say
it's not
Ghibli.
Ghibli, like giblets. It's Ghibli.
Yeah, it was my first Studio Ghibli anime film that I ever saw, and so I just think it's really good. I was surprisingly entertained because I felt like I hadn't seen anything like it at that point. So I'm gonna go ahead with Spirited Away at number 5.
Yeah.
My 4 of the 5 movies that are on my list we've actually covered on the show. At number 5, I have Batman: Mask of the Phantasm, which is still like one of my favorite Batman movies, and just a great Batman film. It's almost a film if no one's ever been introduced to Batman before, it might be easy to. I think Mask of the Phantasm is like a perfect jumping on point for someone who's never seen Batman. And I think it's still one of the best versions of his origin told, and really good voice performances, of course, from Kevin Conroy and Mark Hamill. And we did it for our Christmas movie in 2018. So Batman: Mask of the Phantasm, which I think is a good Batman film.
Yeah. I still think it's funny, that scene where he just draws a red lips on one of the henchmen, and he's like, "I've solved it.
Right.
I've solved the mystery of who the killer is. It's the Joker. Look at these red lips that I just drew on this guy." Long, what's your number 4?
Wait a minute, but Mark, did he give his number 4 yet?
Well, no, I did number 5. I did number 5. So,
okay.
are we snaking it back around, or?
No. Number 4 for me, it's kind of a deep cut. It's a Rankin and Bass animated film called The Last Dragon. They're also famous for doing The Last Unicorn as well. But The Last Dragon I liked a lot because it was basically a world of like science versus magic, and John Ritter was the lead voice actor, I think. But if you guys ever get a chance, look it up on Wikipedia for The Last Dragon.
Have you ever seen
pretty
Wizards from that?
I've heard of it.
It's the same company, is it? Or no?
No, that's
Ralph Bakshi.
Ralph Bakshi. Bakshi. Yeah. What's your number 4, Matt?
Yeah, number 4 for me, I'm going to have to go with Nightmare Before Christmas.
I need teen.
I think
I need teen.
it's a movie that
I need teen.
it's still entertaining to you, even whenever you're older. I don't mind watching it with my kids at all, and it can be played at any time, and any season, and it's still entertaining.
Yeah. What's your number 4?
Number 4, I have The Iron Giant. Could easily be a number 1 film for me. It's one of my favorite animated films. I just really, really like that movie. I don't know. And yeah, that's it. I don't know what else to say about The Iron Giant. We did an episode with it in which, was that the episode where Michael joined us? Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a really fun episode. Just a good film, good family film, and a good movie overall. And maybe, arguably, I know people love The Incredibles, but I think that's Brad Bird's best film is Iron Giant. That's just me personally. So
cool. My number 3 is Akira.
Oh.
I think it's the first feature film that I've seen from Japanese animation. Also helped define the whole cyberpunk genre, as well as with Blade Runner and Ghost in the Shell did. And yeah, very, very well animated. I think it's from the same director. The Mamoru Oshii is the director of Akira and Ghost in the Shell. So kind of see the similar styles in the way skyscrapers are animated and stuff like that,
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's my number 3. What about you, Matt?
Yeah, I also had Akira number 3.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Yeah. I think it's, to echo what you said, I think just the animation is still holds up, still an interesting story. And we covered it and it's great to talk about. There's a lot to say about that movie.
it's funny because I have it at number 3 also. But it's not the same. It's not the same director though. It's Katsura Otomo directed Akira, and Mamoru Oshii directed Ghost in the Shell. But yeah, Akira is the the movie that got me into anime, like a lot of people. I actually was watching it. I didn't do it and download this because I don't always mention the old movies I watch and download this. I try to do my download this for newer stuff. But I was watching part of Akira the other day. I guess because I'd watched Ghost in the Shell, I love Akira. Took me a long time to understand the movie, a few viewings over the years, but such a great movie.
Yeah. My number 2 is it's kind of a 3-way tie. It's Wreck-It Ralph with Fantasia and with Sleeping Beauty. I had a Disney 3-way tie. Wreck-It Ralph speaks to me as a gamer. It has a lot of heart in it. I love the cameos of all the really famous video game characters. Fantasia, it's like a technical achievement. How do you animate, in sync with orchestra music?
Yeah.
And then, of course, Sleeping Beauty. It was done in 70 millimeter. And it's definitely one of my all-time favorites, as far as tight story, classic fairy tale, a big dragon battle at the end,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And one of the best.
It's amazing. Sometimes you watch those early Disney films, and they're like 75 minutes long, but they're so tight, and they do so much in an hour and 15 minutes. It's amazing, but they're really good.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's my number 2. Go ahead, Matt.
I put my DC film I went ahead and put Under the Red Hood. I just think that's what made me a fan of DC films. I know Apocalypse War is probably going to end up being the better film overall, but I think if you watch Under the Red Hood, it stands by itself, and the voice acting's great. Even though you've got DiMaggio instead of Mark Hamill, that's probably the only thing that I would change if I could change anything about that film. But I think it's great, and still holds up, even for '09.
Yeah.
My number 2 film is The Jungle Book, my favorite Disney movie. If I'm in a bad mood, I watch The Jungle Book because it always makes me happy.
Nice.
I love that movie. It's fun. It's if you've never seen Jungle Book, then you're slacking in life because it's one of Disney's best. I even like the live action version they did. I thought it was pretty good. But
it was really good.
Yeah.
Seamless.
Oh yeah,
too.
I just like the story of Mowgli and all the way it comes together. Really great songs in the movie too. And like I said, it's just my feel good movie. It's The Jungle Book, where I'm just kind of like, oh, this sucks. I'll put that on. It's a good movie. Makes me happy.
Yeah. My number 1 is actually more of a recent favorite, and it's an anime, and it's the Evangelion reboot movies, parts 1 through 3. Part 4 is finally coming out, the final part of the Evangelion reboot movie series. That's coming out hopefully this year, later on. But it's spectacular. Hideaki Anno, the director, retells the story of the Evangelion TV series, and does it with such mastery of sight, sound, and music. I've watched it multiple times, and love it. That's my number 1, the Evangelion reboot movie series that started out in, I think, 2008.
Nice.
And it's hopefully will conclude this year. What's your number 1, Matt?
I have an honorable mention of Fightful Goes West. That was my childhood
that's a good
animated.
One.
Yeah.
Oh, I wanted to include Land Before Time.
Oh, Land Before Time. Yeah.
One, yeah.
Fuck that.
Heck yeah, man.
Fuck that sad
Ron
shit.
Bluth was good.
Fuck that sad shit, man.
For my number 1, I went more recent. I've got Into the Spider-Verse, number 1.
Oh, okay, that's a good one.
Yeah. Just love the way it's animated. I think we all know what it's about. It deserves a number 1 spot on plenty of lists. You can justify it.
The hell you got? A damn pube in your mouth? Matt, you're talking like you got
Sour Patch
fucking
Kid.
pube in your mouth. You don't eat on a podcast.
It was sticking to
You're
my
lucky you're not here. I would hit you. You know that's a no-no. People don't want to hear you chewing.
I thought I'd be able to get rid of it, but it's
obviously not, motherfucker. Swallow that shit, bitch.
Like
I
a
got
king. No.
Into the Spider-Verse is a good choice. I went with more older stuff on my list, but if I had an honorable mention, I did point. Have you ever seen Titan AE? I actually really like that movie. But I didn't put it on. My number 1 is I'm a little disappointed that Long did not have this on his top 5. And that's Transformers.
I've never seen it.
It's Transformers the movie. No, Transformers the movie.
Yeah.
That's my number 1 animated film.
I did that one. I didn't like that.
Yeah, but it's fucking Transformers. It's awesome. It's new.
It's the touch,
It's new
man.
characters. I was 10 years old when that shit came out, and I'm like, who is this Galvatron guy? Who is Unicorn? Who is Ultra Magnus? And I was completely blown away when my dad took me to theaters to see that, and it probably changed my life as far as what Transformers were in animation, and I watch it. It's pretty regularly played in my house a lot. Because it's only like an hour and 20 minutes long. Talk about pacing. That movie's paced so fucking quick. It just goes nonstop. But it's badass. And that's my number 1. It's Transformers the movie. So, but I'll forgive you, Long, for not putting it on your list. I just mean as big as a Transformers.
Let's see how the Netflix series.
Oh, I know. As big as a Transformers fan as you are, though, I thought you'd have it on your list.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. But Optimus.
Yeah, I know.
That's what killed me.
I know.
Yeah.
You got to get over your childhood terrors, okay?
I know.
All right. Well, let's do some news then. So this came out of the blue today. I guess Matt Reeves is developing a Gotham PD series for HBO Max that ties in with his
cool.
Batman film that's coming out next year. Very little details were given other than that it will definitely be directly tied in with the film. And it's expected to debut on HBO Max sometime, I guess, around the time the film comes out, which is... Were we supposed to get Batman this year originally? And now we're getting it next year? I don't know.
It's supposed to be October.
No,
I think Batman was always next year. It just got pushed back next year from like June. It was supposed to be June of next year, and it got pushed back in October of next year. That's what it was.
No.
Yeah, I don't think Batman was... Only Wonder Woman was coming out this year. I think Batman was next year. So it's kind of cool, Yeah.
Yeah. As far as Batman related, I heard the Batgirl movie is being developed into a Batman Beyond movie.
Yeah, there's been rumors of that, especially, I guess, if they get Michael Keaton to sign on. And there's also been rumors that if Keaton doesn't sign on, they're going to go after Christian Bale to bring him back. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So, I guess the deal with Bale is Bale has a Warner Brothers contract, so it might be easier to get him, apparently. So we'll see what happens with that. But, I guess it makes sense you're going to do a Gotham PD series. You got Jeffrey Wright that's going to play Commissioner Gordon, and he already works with HBO, of course, on the Westworld TV series. So I would imagine it's probably pretty easy for him to cross the T's and dot the I's to get Jeffrey Wright to sign on as Commissioner Gordon for a Gotham PD series. So assuming he's going to be in it, but that should be cool. I love the character of Batman, so I'm down for anything when it comes to that.
Yeah.
Ernest Cline has he said he was working on a sequel to Ready Player One, his pop culture novel from 2011, I believe the book came out. Get this, it's called Ready Player 2. Ha!
Oh.
And the book hit stores in November. I'm a big fan of his book. I really enjoyed reading Ready Player One. He's a local guy. Ernest Cline lives in Austin, so you got to support our Texas guys. I have not probably ever bought a novel that came out right away in years, but I might actually buy this one. I'm kind of looking forward to reading it. I'm sure it'll be developed into a film because Ready Player One was successful enough. It did make money at the box office. I actually really like Ready Player One quite a bit. Even though it changed some stuff from the book, I really enjoy the movie. So I'm kind of looking forward to that. I might and see what Ready Player 2 holds. It's big news when a novel like that makes the news because, you don't hear too much stuff about novels anymore unless it's Stephen King or J.K. Rowling opening her mouth about something, So.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
And,
yeah. I guess you heard about the latest thing about J.K. Rowling, huh?
No, I
saw it was so big of a mess, and it looked like it got worse. But I'm not. I know it has to do with like the trans community, but I'm not exactly sure what.
Yeah.
I guess she spoke out of line, and it just kind of went from there. I haven't really looked
and
into
she
it.
doubled down.
It looks like a mess,
Yeah.
just a big mess.
Yeah, but oh well. I mean, I'm not really a big fan of Harry Potter, and I've only seen all the movies one and done on each movie, And I thought Fantastic Beasts was overrated and a mess of a movie,
Yeah.
And I heard the Fantastic Beasts 2 was even worse.
Yeah, you kind of have similar feelings that I do. I've seen most of them once, and I'm like, I rented Fantastic Beasts, and I didn't think it was very good at all. I was like, it was the acting was all over the place, the story was all over the place. Yeah, so
yeah,
and
mediocre.
Yeah,
Yoga, yes, like from Mad Max.
Yes, exactly.
Yes.
So we got a trailer this week for The Boys season 2. Long, you gotta get on this bandwagon and watch The Boys, man. It's good stuff, dude. It's only 8 episodes, man.
Mm-hmm.
And then I guess along with it, they're going to have a Billy the Butcher short film that's going to tie in with season 2. But the trailer looks awesome. It made me really excited for the series. It sucks though. They're only going to put out the first 3 episodes, and then they're going to do the other 5 episodes week by week instead of putting them all out at once this time. But that seems to be the new norm. Netflix apparently is going to that. Netflix hasn't officially said it yet, but the word is that Netflix is going to start doing shows weekly, just like Disney Plus and Hulu do. Instead of putting all out at once.
Expand the subscription.
Yeah, exactly. But did you watch the Boys season 2 trailer, Matt?
I didn't. I clicked on the link that you shared, and maybe it just didn't load. And I was like, "Where's the part where the trailer plays?" So I didn't get to watch.
Lots of violence.
That's awesome.
By the way, speaking of Mad Max, Mark, what do you think of them recasting Furiosa?
I mean,
man,
I guess it's a prequel, so she's younger. I'll put it this way: I trust George Miller.
Yeah, same here.
I mean, I would love to have Charlize. I would love to have Charlize come back.
Who would they cast?
I don't know. I'm not as familiar with some of these young actresses nowadays. I'd have to think about it. But I do have one, even though she's getting a little bit older. The chick from the Hunger Games, Natalie Dormer, is also in Game of Thrones. She's tough as nails. She's sexy. She gets naked a lot in Game of Thrones. She could play a young Furiosa. Yeah, might be one.
I think Jennifer Winnick from the Vikings.
Oh yeah. So I trust George Miller. And speaking of Charlize Theron, her new movie, The Old Guard, is on Netflix today. I might have to watch that. Yeah. Wow.
I need to watch Extraction.
Oh yeah, that's good. You'll like it.
Good movie. Same here. Yeah. I haven't seen it.
Yeah, Jackie, you will like it. It's got Chris Hemsworth in it, doing Chris Hemsworth things.
Yes.
And last but not least in the news, Universal Pictures has, of course, been trying to reboot their Monster Universe, and so they have sent it over to their Blumhouse Pictures division, which had some success with The Invisible Man earlier this year, despite theaters being shut down. So their next on their radar is The Wolfman with Ryan Gosling, and the same director from The Invisible Man, Lee Wannell, I think is how you say his name. Looks like he's going to direct this film. I still need to watch The Invisible Man. I did see Upgrade from that director, and I really liked Upgrade a lot. But it seems like they're starting to figure out how to get these monster movies made on lower budgets and well done. And for some reason, I really kind of think Ryan Gosling's pretty good as a Wolfman. It sounds like good casting.
I think he can do it.
So we'll see where they go with that. But that's all the news I had, unless you guys had anything.
No.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, it was a holiday week. News is always slow after a holiday week. So let's preview next week's film before we get out of here. We're gonna have a little bit of fun this next week. Whereas we're gonna about a year and a half ago we covered Superman 1 and Superman 2, and we never did 3 and 4 for obvious reasons, because 3 and 4 are not as well received. So on our Patreon, we're going to be covering Superman 4 for the month of July, which is obviously a terrible movie, so we're going to have some fun with it and tear it apart. But Superman 3, which is a little bit more watchable, is going to be our regular episode next week as we talk Superman 3 on the podcast.
When it's time for adventure, it's time for Superman. Alexander Salkind presents Christopher Reeve and Richard Pryor in Superman 3. Now, the evil threat is not a mere superhuman. It is a supercomputer.
What will it do for me? It'll do anything you tell me to tell it to do for you.
A machine so powerful it can change the weather, control the earth.
Oh. Now, getting down to business.
And even reprogram Superman.
thought you'd never get here.
I hope you don't expect me to save you, because I don't do that anymore.
Now, his evil side is creating a global energy crisis, destroying the wonders of the world. And playing havoc with the world games. The Man of Steel has become his own worst enemy.
You're going to go down in history as the man who killed Superman.
No, but he's still our only hope for survival.
I asked you to kill Superman, and you're telling me you couldn't even do that one simple thing.
Come on, put yourself here.
All right, Webster, the game's over.
Will he conquer his evil side and conquer the super machine in time to save the world from destruction? Superman 3. This time is going to be the best time of all.
It's going to be fun to talk about drunk Superman fighting himself and Richard Pryor in his role. Superman 3 is not as good as Superman 1 and 2, but it's still, I don't think it's a terrible, terrible film. It's watchable. It's got some ridiculous in it, too.
Christopher Reeve has his Superman and Clark Kent bit down to
and
a
that's the
T
thing.
in Superman 3. I think he's the best. He is in any movie.
Right. And we'll talk about that more next week, but you're absolutely right. Because 1 and 2 were basically filmed back to back. He didn't quite have time to really get the character down. And he's probably better as Superman Clark Kent in 3 than he is in 1 and 2. even if the movie around him is not that great. So that should be fun to talk about next week, talking Superman 3 on the show. I'm looking forward to it. As I've been on this crazy Superman kick the last month and a half and watching a lot of Superman stuff. So it should be fun. And then within the week also, we'll have Superman 4 out for our Patreon members. So if you want to join Patreon, go to RebelRadioPodcast.com, click the little Patreon link, and for just $2 a month, you can listen to those exclusive episodes. And it helps us, keeps us the show going by helping us pay for server space and things like that. So, Superman 3 next week on the Rebel Radio Podcast. But that's all we got until next time. As always, like I just said, go to RebelRadioPodcast.com and follow us on all our social media. And just stay safe out there. Take care of yourselves. And we appreciate you listening to the podcast. And we hope we keep you entertained while you are at home or doing whatever it is that you do right now. This has been Mark, as always.
This has been Matt.
This is Long, the Cyberpunk.
And see you guys next week. And until next time, remember, as always, just go there and do it.
Just go there and do it. As always.
Hey, you're listening to Rebel Radio Podcast, and this is Jay Muse. Snooch to the nooch. Go there and do it.